Hello again, and here we go. We move on to tier 5 in my garage. The first tier 5 in the top left corner is a tank that I love to bits. I've sold before. It's the Grille. It's the tier 5 German Arty. It's the one before the Hummel, and the Hummel is commonly referred to as the Bumblebee. Some people think this is the Bumblebee. It's not. It's the Hummel. Trust me. The tier 4 before this it's not bad, it's pretty tidy, but this to me is the gem of the German line, and it's one of the reasons why, again, it's a tank in my garage, it's a keeper, and it's also what I consider to be a tank of win. And here's why. One of the great things about the Grille is it's not too shabby, it's quite small. For an Arty that packs a punch. Whenever you're parked up against other Arties around the same sort of tier or what have you, you'll always kind of feel that you're not some great big juggernaut of a machine. If you just have a look here on the inside of the cap circle very, very shortly, you'll see a little shooting star. Now, I missed this in the game, okay? I was busy watching, thinking, looking for a wall, I was looking for things to break, and then all of a sudden, right out of the corner of my eye, I did not see that just below the cap circle there. Now, for those of you that don't know how to counter Arty, go speak to Fusty. Fusty's a great counter Arty guy. He loves it. The rage you'll get will be phenomenal. I missed that in the battle. But now look at that lovely tidy little circle. That's something you won't get with too many Arties. Actually, hardly any. It's a very accurate artillery. It's a reload of just under 20 seconds, even with just a standard crew. You only bring it down much. And I do play this with chocolate, a premium consumable, but I think even the most average crew will get around at about 20 seconds. Now, if you watch here, I've got the red line, but I press the G button to give me that Arty line of sight, and unfortunately I don't register any damage. But whenever you're shooting a tank and it's in amongst rocks or houses like that, pressing the G key when you're in sniper mode will give you this angled mode. Now you can see why this is going to be really handy right now, because if I was looking top down, I'd be looking at a moving vehicle. The Stug, for whatever reason, he wants to advance up the hill. I know he's going to go quite slow. I'm going to try and time my round. He's disappeared, but I know that he's got to be travelling slowly up that hill, and he's dead. So very, very nice. Again, it's not too slow, the Grille round. It's tidily and accurate. It also sort of tends to do between on a direct hit between sort of 300 up to around 500 damage. You can't really go by numbers on Arty because you have to go by also the defences on the tank, and it has such a variation in the kind of damage you can do in the round. Now we're about to see a Matilda poking around, and the Matilda is dead because it's not really a tough tank for Arty. It's tough and robust for tanks at its tier, but not for a piece of Arty. Now another thing to remember, when you win with the G key, everything you see, there's no point if this guy pokes out, which he will do shortly, and you see that I don't fire because the round's going to take too long to get there. I will come back to this guy, and I fire a blind round to see if I can splash damage the T-37. That's another thing. The heat round that you can see that I've got 10 of, it's only because I haven't changed it. It's an absolute waste of time in this tank. Really, really isn't. As I'm well informed, if it will bounce more often than not, especially off of a flat surface. It's just a bit rubbish, really. So always stick with a standard round, which makes the Grille quite a cheap tank to play. I'm watching this guy more for if he was to come in and decide to try and aim his round at the Matilda. If he tries to aim his round at the Matilda and I see his turret move when he comes out, I'm going to fire at him. But unfortunately he doesn't, and I tire of his company. So let's move along and show other reasons why the Grilla is such a good tank, especially at distance. Now you can look, I'm in K2. Now the next tank that's going to be a tank of choice is all the way over there, that Hetzer, all the way over in C6. Moves up. If you move your targeting slowly, the bloom will still reduce. It doesn't have the biggest arc. And another sucker bites the dust. The one thing I would say that's the only downside about the Grilla is, although it's not got a bad speed moving along in a straight line, as soon as you start to turn it, like most arties, it becomes incredibly sluggish. But that speed of reload with a competent crew, that is a crew that's at 100%, a commander that's at 100% will keep the reload on this tank, even without a premium consumable, down to 20 seconds, maybe a fraction under. But with the arc of this gun, what you didn't see earlier was Gavin, who's in this game with me, who is over in K8, actually put a round over the middle hill in Lakeville and took out, I think it was a KV-1S. So now again we're just sitting here waiting. I know that T-34 up there, or the Matilda, one of them is going to spot the arties who are going to do the whole shotgun thing. And here we go. Now here's a nice example of how splash damage works with this guy. It's not fantastic, but it's not bad. Now considering the next tank I hit is an arty, I don't hit it, I hit the ground right next to it, just within, just on the edge of the tracks. It was splash damage only, but it still took 200 off of it. This guy was the guy I really wanted because he played really well as the enemy Grilla and handed 4 of our guys over, so he was the big guy for them. And the nice thing is that nice small circle, even with a small tank like the Grilla, it's a nice accurate gun. So there you go, that is the tier 5 keeper for me. That is the Grilla. I love it to bits, it's never going anywhere, and it's a fantastic crew trainer.